All right. Hi. Welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name. Yeah, we're going. We're just going. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And today we're with Eric Silver, returning guest. We are talking about Model Nation, and we choose an addiction. No, we won't do that one.
Addiction? Why do we have to talk about addiction?
Because I have one.
Oh, your cards.
Are those? I didn't even get to see. Are they Pokemon cards? Are they Magic cards?
They're One Piece cards.
Oh, they're One Piece cards.
I do have a. Okay, it started with One Piece, and then it became Pokemon, and then it became Lorcana, and
Sure.
I have one Magic the Gathering pre-con, and that's it. That's all I have.
Yeah, you did all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I didn't study Latin, but I do know how to speak French and Spanish and Esperanto, and like it's close. It's close.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it
You
is
know
close.
all the Romance languages. That counts.
I know all the card lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. We met Eric at PAX U in person for the first time.
It was so good.
I would like to clarify something that happened there.
Oh, no.
That when I saw Adrian in person for the first time. So Alex came up first and was like, "Hi, I'm Alex," and I'm like, "Oh, from the podcast." And you're like, "Dungeons and Degrees." I'm like, "Yeah, I totally remember. You live in Texas." Blah blah blah. Right? And then a large man wearing clown makeup walks up to me. And I'm like, "Great Balatro cosplay." And you're like, "You don't remember me?" And I'm like, "Sir?" Sorry, you're wearing clown makeup. And it was like, "I'm Adrian." And I'm like, I didn't recognize you with the clown makeup. And then you're like,
telling
"What's
me
Balatro?"
You didn't notice any of me shaving off my whole beard and putting white across my face. That's crazy. I can't. And then we proceeded to interview people for the first time as I'm walking around in clown get up.
Yeah.
We're professionals.
And it was fine. I was on myself a little bit, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I should, I wish I had remembered everyone. If I do guest podcasting is like meeting someone, even if you just meet them once at a party. But I'm coming back here to forgive myself here in 2025. It's like, no, wait a second, you were wearing clown makeup, and I was right.
Yeah,
How
no,
dare
you're
you?
fine.
So I just wanted.
I think I said that because I knew you wouldn't know me. Because I'm like, what do you mean you don't know me?
It's like, what do you mean? It's like, all right, fair. I wish I had remembered the clown I was on the podcast of.
It was such a bad idea to get you dressed up in a full clown makeup and then go meet people that we've pseudo met on the internet before. And then, oh my God. And you're a tall man. Adrian, you're so tall.
I didn't know that. I would have used that as an identifier for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The podcasting sphere narrows your viewpoint.
Yeah. That was also like, we had a table at PAX U and I was selling Model Ornations for the first time. I'd published it like only a few weeks before. And I was like, I'm going to have to... I hope that I can get this in the hands of people who I know, but also get it in the hands of new people. Just like selling a tabletop RPG is just a whole new experience for me. Mm-hmm. And like, because the game is like my first, I call it my first real one. Like it was laid out by a graphic designer and not my wife, Amanda, who knows how to make Word documents look really pretty. And it was like the first, we got it printed by our merch people who we now use for Join the Parties merch. Certified Crucial, who are really good dudes. So I had all these, and I have all these prints with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to sell these, and I really got to be on, even though this is gonna be difficult. And then a tall man with clown makeup walked up and said, "You don't know who I am."
Sounds like a threat. The clowns are after you. You slighted the clown posse. Not the insane one, just the regular one.
I should know this famous clown walking up to me in PAX U. Why won't I let them in, even though we have a 30-minute wait at a restaurant?
To be fair, after that interaction, I did purchase Model Our Nations. Did I read it?
Yeah.
No, I am so sorry. Did I just hand it to the person that I knew would enjoy it the most? I did.
That's fine. I'm okay with it. That counts. I think that counts. I think that's what you're supposed to do with independent tabletop RPGs. I've also been struggling with the term independent and like indie lately, both in terms of just like for podcasting and for tabletop RPGs. It's so like exclusion. It is so deferential towards a duopoly or triopoly of power that I'm trying to take it out of my language, but for podcasting, it's just like it is what it is. But for table, it's like for anyone who plays not just Dungeons and Dragons, and who might be interested in it. I'm like, that's all you can do is like take this weird object and shove it into someone's hands. Because it is. I mean, I'm realizing as a game designer, all I do is write GM-less games. I love it, and also maybe it's because I've been like professionally a dungeon master since 2017. So I'm like, what if there was a game where everyone could just play and there was no prep? I guess I just don't like prep, honestly. I've played so many board games. I love cooperative board games, or just like those really like those second tier ones. Like one tier above Catan in terms of complexity, where it's like, I'm going to get into it right now, but we're going to have to follow the rule. Like, no one preps for a board game. You just set it up and let it go. And I think that GM-less tabletop RPGs are close like that. So Model Our Nations is like, okay, let's play out this game that is self-contained. You get to do some like fun government stuff where you get to like fill out a docket and you get to create a character in a country immediately. And I like that it's self-contained, and you need like a person who played a lot of Civilization 4 or did Model UN in high school, which was me. So I'm trying to talk to myself, the various versions of myself that are out there.
We were trying to become the games we wanted to be when we were younger.
Yeah, truly. It's like, what if it existed? But yeah, listen, I'll do my Model UN. I'll do my Model Our Nations pitch for sure.
No. First, I want the Model UN one. I want the Model UN. How do we get kids into Model UN?
Model UN is great. I did Model UN in high school. It was really fun, and we traveled to I traveled to Ithaca. I went to Cornell to Corn Moon, Corn Model UN. Cornell Model UN, and I went to Bosmoon, to Boston Model UN, which was hosted by Harvard, which was fun. So if you want to get into trouble at college when you're in high school, and by trouble I mean like eat pizza in a college town, Model UN, that's for you.
If only I had a Model UN in my school.
What did you have? Did you have debate? We didn't have like formal speech and debate.
No. Well, not until college. High school was like super small, like 200 and wait, I graduated class of 125, so there was roughly 600 students in my school, so not enough funding, dude. Not enough funding to do anything.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, all my lacrosse gear had to buy it myself.
That sucks. I go for lacrosse. I mean, I played football in high school, and getting hand-me-down pads sucks. Mm-hmm. At least lacrosse is like specialized enough where it's like, yeah, actually, I should probably own this so it fits my body and it's mine. It's my stinky pads that I'm not going to give back to someone. Like, I'm not saying it's not expensive, but if you had to buy something, I would be like, I want my cool highlight style stick and catch. I want that to be mine.
Oh yeah, the sticks were a big thing. Oh gosh, everyone was like, "Look, I got neon pattern, fucking netting. I do it all myself." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, man," just bringing out their hair as much as they can at Catholic school, just like right at the edge, and then they have to chop it off, off the shoulders. It's as much flow as you're gonna get.
I love how that's the opposite of a bowl cut. It's like put this helmet on, and we'll slice it off at the bottom of the helmet.
It's basically
Also,
what
I
happened.
don't think you're allowed to make any fun of anyone for accessories, because you did just talk about your addiction to One Piece cards, and I'm sure you have plenty of dice somewhere.
Why? Whoa! Why did you have
I
to scream that second
do
half?
to a point. I haven't bought new dice since like I want to say probably 3 or 4 years ago. I haven't bought any new dice because I don't really care for dice. I'm not the Dice Goblin D&D nerd.
Sure.
So here's the other thing about
Wait,
Adrian and his lack of dice goblinness. Adrian has a set of like semi-precious stones that he was just like letting like rattle around all willy-nilly. Like
that was on me. Those things cracked immediately. That's on me.
So what you rolling semi-precious stones as your dice?
Yeah.
no, they were just in a box that he just like carried around.
You just have like rubies, like your
Amethysts.
dragon's hoard is just like in a bag.
Amethysts.
Amethyst.
Look, they're just like touching each other. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
As I
look-
pull out-
and they're chipping at the
Someone was just. I'm dice is a scam. Dice is a scam. Sometimes when I look into like what people are looking for D&D related books, because every so often you're like, how did this person get a book published? This person is such a pud.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at it and you realize that agents are just looking for like things that someone at a Ren fair would buy. Do you remember? And I don't want to lean on this but I think that it came from TikTok, but I think it crossed my transom as a Instagram reel and through Reddit or whatever. But like, there were people at a Ren fair, and there was like a muscle mommy like pouring mead into these people's mouths. Do you know the video I'm talking about?
Yes.
And like those are the people that will spend $300 on these books that they're selling, and I'm wondering if the dice is like it has real like rub this into your skin and you won't get melanoma vibes as someone participating in this particular MLM. And like, is chipped amethyst dice the eat this and you won't get cancer of tabletop RPGs?
I think it's like that. Oh, I have a broken screen because I can buy a new phone. Kind of like
sure.
elitism.
I think Adrian is the elite because I have the semi-prep. I also have, but mine are absolutely in a box that is almost impossible to open up because I'm just a small guy.
Ooh, those are pretty.
Yeah, they're labradorite though. But I'm also a crystal girly, so like for
Sure.
me to have the dice that match all of the other crystals I have, then it makes a little more sense. But yeah, I think Adrian definitely has that like West Side, Daddy can buy me a brand new pickup truck because I just crashed the Ford Mustang.
I didn't understand that. Oh, I need to be more careful with these things.
I didn't understand. I just didn't know it was gonna break when I just like put it in a box and just shook it around. Like I just didn't know. How silly of you, Adrian. It was just so silly. Let's go get some champs.
You're having amethyst dice is the V Stiviano of tabletop RPGs. The girl who was dating Donald Sterling, the former owner of the Clippers. I get sports reference. It's okay. I guess that crossed over.
Thank you. I was like,
she was in a documentary, and there was an FX there was an FX TV show about it, so I thought it was relevant. So,
Yeah. No. You were right. Wrong audience.
okay, I know that's on me. I forget who I'm talking to sometimes.
sports ball. Oh. Listen.
I'm sports ball adjacent, but I really only stay in the baseball.
That's the thing is, it would be really helpful for everyone who doesn't like sports to either start liking sports or admit that the way that they look at other stuff is sports. For example, RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, that's sports.
Like, get a sport. I think that so many people, especially now that TikTok exists doesn't exist anymore. Everyone just has these feelings that they pour into telling someone they're ugly on TikTok, and you should pour it into sports.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, I think the hatred that you feel about a certain team, right, could transcend calling people or bullying people on the internet, right? I could just blatantly hate the Dallas Cowboys and use that energy there rather than hating people for the way they look.
Their own team hates and loves them so much. It is absurdly crazy.
I am not, for the record, I am not a Cowboys fan. If I was going to choose a sports ball team, that was not the one.
That's fair. I mean, being in Texas is like, everything I know about people from Texas is like, you are either actively choosing or not choosing Texas. Every time,
everywhere.
like, there are things about Texas that are really cool. And Brandon, who is, edits Join the Party and is one of our players, just like actively dislikes Texas. So when I bring up Buc-ees, he's like, Buc-ees is stupid and bad. And I'm like, objectively, Brandon, no, it's not. Those are good. It is cool that you can go to a gas station and buy a brisket sandwich. That is objectively cool. I understand where you're coming from, but like, that's not true. It's like, you can't tell me that he loves queso. So I think this is, I'm not saying what he's saying out of school, but it's like, if he were to tell me actually queso is bad, breakfast tacos are bad, I'm like, no, it's not. You just hate Texas and are stuck or left as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't have Buc-ees because I like, this is a cult. And then finally last year I got inside one and I had one of their sandwiches. I'm like, fuck, this is good. What the hell?
Now this is related because as a East Coast elite, Jew, but also East Coast elite on its own without implications. Which Buc-ees did you go to?
I think.
Oh, that's a good question.
South of Dallas.
Okay,
So,
I hear that's a good one.
There's a Temple one. Okay, so there's Temple is right north of Austin.
Yeah,
no, much closer to Dallas.
Is Temple closer?
I didn't want to do the totally no one cares if you're not from this place, but I was trying to make a point. I have heard that's a good one, but I hear that all Buc-ees are all very good. There are definitely Wahwahs and Sheetz that are good and bad. And I think that if we're talking about gas stations that have food inside of them, that is a big flaw for Wahwah, which is in the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, and Sheetz, which is like West Virginia down, usually, depending on where you go, or more Appalachia when you go into it. I like Wahwah more, also because I'm probably going to run into it when I go into New Jersey and drive that way. But Sheetz is more hilarious to me. It symbolizes American largesse and how we hang ourselves with choice. Because at Wahwah, it's like, get this sandwich. This is the sandwich you would buy, person who lives in New Jersey or Philadelphia, but you've probably been to a sandwich-style deli, and with Italian-style meats. Just do it. You can put some stuff on it. You have ultimate control. But at Sheetz, since they add the fried food elements to it, where you go in there and you have this screen and it's like, put anything on any sandwich. Put fried mac and cheese balls on your roast beef. Make it hot. Make it cold. Get onion petals. Get whatever you want. And you can fuck up a sandwich so badly because in the back, someone will have to make it. And if you put too much or too little on that sandwich, they'll go, fuck you, and make it in the worst way possible. So Sheetz symbolize, like, I don't think you can get yourself into a bad situation in Buc-ees, and you kind of can in Wahwah, but Sheetz is like, there's too many elements. You cannot control the cold sandwich, the hot sandwich, all of the excess, and the drinks and the everything, plus adding fried stuff to it. It's just too much.
I haven't been to a Sheetz yet, but when I was in Philly, I went to a Wahwah.
How'd you feel?
And it was good. It was a lot because I think I put too much. It was a hot honey sandwich, and I was just like, oh, my hands are sticky. What the fuck did I do this for? But I knew I wanted that hot honey because I was just craving it.
Exactly. Wahwah still lets you hang yourself, but Sheetz is like, here's the entire noose. Congratulations. It's your choice as an American to put whatever you want on the sandwich, regardless of if it's good or not.
This is your bad choice, not ours.
Do you know? Did you guys ever play Skyrim before?
Yes.
There's a potion making mechanic to it, Alex, where
Yeah.
you just kind of get a lot of materials, and you can put up to 4 materials together. And they'll
This
make
is
any
equivalent
potion.
to the Legend of Zelda food making.
It's similar, but because
Okay.
it's like, oh yeah, you're just gonna put food on your table and you throw it together. And then sometimes in Zelda, it's like sometimes it's bad food, sometimes it's okay food or whatever. In Skyrim, you can just eat an ingredient and it will tell you one possible thing it could do, but it also might hurt you deeply if you eat like a dragonfly. Or you eat like the ember of a soul of a fire spirit. And-
Okay.
And
So you can eat whatever you want.
yeah, you can eat whatever you want. It'll
Never
hurt you.
did that.
Oh, I loved this. This is my favorite thing. The other thing you can do is you can just throw any up to 4 things together, 2 to
I've
4
done that.
things into together and it makes a potion that does something. And it might be bad, it might be good. And that's how it feels going into Wahwah and Sheetz. Where it's like, I'm going to throw these together and maybe it'll give me a potion that'll give me plus 200 health. Or maybe it'll give me something that Todd Howard will step out of the TV and punch me in the nuts. And then I have poison.
Todd Howard has poison damage. Cool.
Todd Howard has poison damage. So,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's an experience. The like going into PAX U, the choice of like who you want to talk to and who you're going to stand in like line and do all that stuff. That's why like the first run, I have to just walk. I can't look at anything
Absolutely.
too much, or else I'm just going to be stuck in one spot and then the next spot, and then I'm missing out. It's just so destabilizing in my head about there's so many things going on with any convention so far. PAX U didn't seem as overwhelming as Gen Con,
No.
but still had to do that.
I mean, Gen Con is literally on a football stadium, while everything else is not. Of just like
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons fans, I don't think I'll ever go. Only because I don't want COVID, and also it just feels like
Fair.
it feels like mandatory on the gift bag. They give you like a praise Gary Gygax chick track, and you get COVID on the way out. But it just feels so overwhelming, and it's
Here's
just
your
like all
complimentary
revolving on like
cough.
one thing, like revolving around one thing instead of like board games or like unplugged games. Just it being Dungeons and Dragons, it just feels like a lot.
Oh no, it is. It is
And they
so
do.
much.
We do slip in some of the extra gaming, but then that also felt like it was like if it wasn't Dungeons and Dragons, then it gets put into the football stadium where like you could play the Avatar RPG.
Oh, sure.
You could play other things, but it then at that point it feels like, oh, I'm having to go to the kids table because I'm not playing D&D.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's what I love about PAX U, is that it's just like, yeah, everyone go fuck shit up. Do whatever you want. PAX U also is like by far it seems like the PAXs have consumed everything, whatever other events there were. And I'm speaking broadly. I'm sure that there are small things like in small local or cons, but like there's no medium-sized ones anymore. So now PAX U is bumping. Like 2 years ago, we went 2 years ago, and I guess that was after COVID, but it felt really chill. And now it definitely feels like it's ramping up, and it's the only thing that is gaining steam. That's why I like having something to do. I don't like just walking around. It makes me feel like I need to make my own fun, which is my least favorite thing to do. So I'm like, I'm going to. It's like, sorry, Minecraft. I would give me a quest, please. I'd rather like sit at my table, tell people about my game, yell at people a little bit, and see what happens.
Yeah. I can agree with that because I think even with the loss, because we had a PAX down, we had a PAX South, right? Adrian and
Yep.
San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So I think even with the loss of some of the extra packs, that it probably they're able to pull in more resources and making the ones that they do have still even bigger. because I even feel like Fan Expo is one of those that it feels commercialized, but it doesn't feel overwhelmingly huge. Like it's doable in a day if you have to, as long as you're not standing in line to get an autograph with somebody. You can experience Fan Expo in one day. But Dallas is really good for having the smaller conventions. They're just niche.
Sure.
Right? They have like a furry convention, and then there's 2 anime conventions, and I think there's a general comics. So like they become there. I would agree with you that I would like a middle-ish where we're mixing things together, and it's not just like, oh, the furries are in town.
I mean, this is for everything, though. I think part of the problem is, like, everything in our society at the moment, PAX is owned by goddamn Funko Pop people. So, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, whatever makes sense for them, and they bought up all the events. So, like, are they in? It's funny to think that like PAX South doesn't exist anymore, and yet all of the PAXs are owned like by a mega corporation now. And of course, they'll lean towards, getting celebrity signings and getting massive things, which doesn't work well for everybody. PAX U is still nice. It's still fun. I really like going. Philadelphia is just a weird place, too.
It's so weird weirdly walkable, and like I don't know if that's just a thing in the Northeast that everything was really walkable, and I was very overwhelmed even just by that. I was like, oh yeah, everything is just like right here.
Yeah, lots of cities in the Northeast like that are walkable, and have fine public transit or really good public transit for the United States. But it's funny for Philly and Boston, those streets are the same ones that were made in 1664.
Yeah.
So it's like you're driving on something that used to be a horse path. And you're like, I can tell from the way that from I'm driving down. Amanda described it as every street in Philly looks like a wrong turn.
You're so right.
Every single one, even when you're following your GPS and it's like turn left here, you're like, are you sure? Is this a one way? Is this an alley with a dead end? And it's like, no, that's how you get to the highway. That's how you get to Ben Franklin Highway #1. This is something that I experienced in Philly, which I wasn't ready for, which I knew, which I definitely knew, but I bought a car recently, and which is so nice. His name is Donkey Car. I love him a lot. He's a 2019 Honda CRV.
Okay.
And I realized that everyone was fucking yelling and beeping at me the entire time. Everyone was so aggressive. And I've been to Philly a number of times before, and I was like, why is this happening? Like, people, whenever I did anything anywhere, when I got out of the car and a car drove by me, they beeped at me or whatever. People, when I was going through a crosswalk, at one point I was going through a crosswalk and like making a right on a street when I was picking my friend up who lives in Philly, and there was a family like 50 feet away, like on the other side of the crosswalk, walking in, and I'm like, I have plenty of space. I'm nowhere near you. You're fine. And it was a dad and a mom and a 3-year-old, right? And the guy yelled at me in an Australian accent, which I wasn't expecting. Hey, why don't you just hit us next time, mate? And I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? And then my brain short-circuited and I had to drive away. The reason why, I have a New York plates now, and they hate me, and I don't think about them at all. They just hate me because I have New York state plates and I'm from New York, and they immediately hate me. I didn't realize that until someone pointed it out to me of like why it was so different. I didn't know why everyone was yelling at me so much, but just like the chip on the shoulder of people from Philadelphia, and I guess they just assumed I was from New York City. It just happens. There's like such weird rivalry in Northeast cities, and you just don't think about it from New York because you're too busy like avoiding getting eaten by rats and also our mayor like stealing all of my money.
Oh my
The
gosh.
mayor also getting eaten by the mayor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm worried
equivalent-
about getting eaten by the mayor.
Also, the equivalent of that would be like if you found out that somebody was from Dallas or Austin or Houston or San Antonio, right? We still have that down here, but it's just not as easily identifiable as having plates on your car.
Team logos.
It can be the sports team logos, right? It can be, because there's a lot of people with Texan gear up in Dallas, and then there's, I guess, cowboy gear everywhere. But it definitely becomes more of a like, you're
tribalism.
from Dallas.
Is there this is why I think it's a Northeast thing, though, because you guys are all Texans, and I don't know if there is not even state pride, but state awareness. It's like, yes, we're all in Texans. We're all in Texas. The state is massive, so we all live in this, whatever the boundaries of this state are. Is there an obvious hierarchy of cities?
I don't. It's dependent on where you've started or where you find your pride. Because, like, to me, as someone who's been in San Antonio for the majority of my life, Houston has, like, some of the most, like, obnoxious people I've met. They're always, I'm from Houston, la-di-da. And then Dallas are just kind of elitist, in my opinion. And then if you're anywhere west, you're just country bumpkins. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
You're in Friday Night Lights, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And I think that's even like, it's very so we're Dallas, San Antonio, all of it's in like sort of the central part of the state, right? So then if you say that you're from West Texas, I think there is a difference. And if I'm saying I'm from East Texas, like those sides, and then there's El Paso, right? So like East Texas, West Texas are still different, and then El Paso is also a different entity entirely.
That's just Mexico plus.
But it feels more like this is what I was assuming, and this was what I was trying to get at is like you guys all seem like fighting characters in the same video game, right?
Yeah,
where you all have your distinct things. And maybe there are rivalries. Of course there are rivalries, especially with the number of sports teams that there are in Texas, for God's sakes. And everyone's like, wow, congrats on the Riverwalk. Thanks. But
God, I hate the Riverwalk, but don't you ever diss the Riverwalk, okay?
Fucking pan flutes for life, man.
But I think that there's such like a little brother thing that goes on with Philadelphia that I just did not know was happening. And I don't think New York City knows Philadelphia feels. That there because of the size of New York compared to Boston compared to Philadelphia is and then of course and then DC is like the bottom of that Northeast corridor is like there's very defined hierarchies because of size and importance. And Boston being New England as opposed to like the Atlantic corridor, and them feeling themselves by being Boston and insane. But it's like it's such a weird thing that I did not know was happening. Instead of like, oh, we're all living here together in this fighting game metaphor I just made, which it feels like Texas to me.
What is the official Eric Silver ranking of Northeast cities?
It's like, whatever, man. It's fine.
No. This sounded like there was a ranking that you had already.
But like, it would be different. But like, if I said New York was the best, so would like everyone else. Like, who would say that Boston was better than New York? I don't, unless you're from Boston. I don't know.
I didn't ask for anybody else. I asked for Eric Silver's official ranking of New England cities.
TM.
Of Northeast cities.
Northeast.
I mean, New York City's number one for sure. I've already decided I think I'm never gonna live in another state. I'm like, why would I need to? I'm gonna have to learn all the weird things that go on in your state government. Like, I got it. I'm figuring it out. No, New York City's great. I really like Philadelphia too. They just like really reveal their dark side to me, and I'm very turned off by it. I also really like Boston. It's just Boston's really weird. It's how I feel when I go to Europe, and I'm like, something's different here, and it's not just the electrical plugs.
I agree with you. I tried to take my former partner to Boston, right? Because my family's all up from there, and I'm like, what do you think? Because that's somebody that's completely removed from any sort of like Eastern vibes, right? It was like, it's off. There's just something weird about the entirety of Massachusetts, but
Yeah.
primarily Boston.
I think it's a majority of Massachusetts for sure. I think I also want to like. I'm also been living in New York City for like so long now. I was reflecting on that. I'm like, it has really. Someone asked me how long I've been going to this this thing called Fish Friday, which was there's a smoked salmon distributor in my neighborhood in Greenpoint that sell on Fridays. You can go and get like wholesale-ish prices for like very expensive locks. I love it. And they asked me how long I've been coming. I'm like, God, I guess it was 10 years ago with my how many girlfriends ago who was living in this neighborhood who told me about it, and then I started going. I'm like, God, I've been living here. I've been living in New York City for like 15 years. It's crazy. So it's like, there's so many people in a city that like you can really find your thing, but I think that like Boston has real Massachusetts brain, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-mm. That's it.
DC's weird. I described DC when we spent some time from there, especially when we did live shows there for Join the Party. We did live shows last year in March, and it was nice like going, and we have friends there too. But it's really funny going to DC, the actual city, where I'm like, wow, they took a predominantly black city and they grafted the seat of American government to it. It's always fighting each other. It's like the difference between DC the capital and DC the city are so different. And DC the city is awesome. And the capital is just really, and all the people who are in the capital are just really weird. Which I could only imagine we all know that people who work in the government are weird.
Yeah. Yeah. The when we start learning all their names because of the horrendous shit they do, yeah, that city's gonna be fucking weird.
I mean, I already feel weird. I mean, when everyone was getting interviewed after Kamala Harris lost, and everyone's like, I'm a Democratic consultant, and look at how good I am at my job. I'm like, you are a weirdo. I do not like you. You make my skin crawl, and you beefed it. So it's, again, I don't even just like lay it at the people, the obvious cretins that we now know are going to power. It's like the people who were there before. The people who are like, yeah, good job, Joe Biden. You keep doing what you're doing. Good job. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for all the stuff that you did in the last few days, Joe. Good job. I'm sure that will stay.
I'm sure
good
that's
job.
just... It'll cement in.
Yeah. Thanks for senioritising your way through those last few days.
No.
And that works in both ways. That works both ways for the teachers in the room and also for Joe Biden's age, folks. Also, funny, Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, older than Joe Biden. Just want to point that out.
You know what? Jerry Jones will live forever, all right? Fuck you.
He is living forever. He was on Landman, and he crushed it.
He will forever. Jerry Jones.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Landman? Do you know the show Landman?
I don't know about Landman. No.
Oh my god. Okay, so it's part of the Taylor Sheridan universe, the Yellowstoneverse, that guy who made Yellowstone. He makes like 5,000 shows all the time and is on Paramount Plus. And there is a show starring Billy Bob Thornton working as like a guy who drills for oil, but he's like, no, he's the guy who like gets the land so that oil companies can drill for oil. And there was a moment in the second to last episode of the season where Jerry Jones delivered a monologue pretty well about family. And I'm like, goddamn, Jerry Jones, you nailed it. You did such a good job reading off those cue cards about a story about yourself. You crushed it. It was actually moving. It was kind of crazy that just like the Crypt Keeper with $1 billion just came on and delivered this monologue. Well, Billy Bob Thornton and John Hamm, who's also in the show, just like sat there and watched him. It was crazy. John Hamm is in a hospital bed, and Billy Bob Thornton is sitting there solemnly holding a cowboy hat, and Jerry Jones is just like delivering 4 minutes on family.
sometimes I'm upset that we're in this reality, and then sometimes I hear things like that, and I'm not as mad that this is the reality that I'm currently set in.
It's kind of funny. I think you can just look it on YouTube, honestly.
Yeah. Listen, I will, because that sounds fascinating.
Landman, bad show. Watched every episode.
I've done that with so many shows. I'm just like, I've already invested a season. Maybe it'll get better, or maybe I just complete this. You know, just keep going till its end.
I missed tuning in to new episodes of a show so badly, because that's not a thing that happens anymore. Like, it came out weekly. I think it dropped on either like Fridays or Sundays, and I'm like, I need a show that I'm going to tune into a new episode for on Monday morning, that I will start watching Landman and get excited. Do I skip through all of the parts where this 28-year-old woman pretends she's 18 and is Billy Bob Thornton's daughter, talking about all the sex she's not having? Yes, I do. Is it worth it anyway? Yes, it is.
Yeah. As I get older, I see that, like, that's supposed to be a fucking kid? No, I when I was young, I did like, yeah, that's an 18-year-old. Like, no, they are.
Adrian, I need you to understand, she's like definitely 27 and like an Instagram model. Like, there's no way this child has ever been 17 in ever.
I think y'all lacked a development while CW was in major play.
Sure.
Because absolutely everybody on every CW show, child, right?
Right.
Riverdale, they're all children. Even when they were adults, they were children.
I guess maybe it was like the seal of approval that I could render, like, suspend my disbelief that the CW shows gave me. And because they were all like, quote unquote, kids, like, especially when we're talking about like Riverdale. Yeah, Riverdale is an incredible example, even through like One Tree Hill, for sure. But it's because she's like the only teen on the show, or of the main characters, that that it feels egregious.
Okay.
Like, her brother he dropped out of Texas Tech with a few months to go. So he's 22, and he, I guess, ostensibly looks like a young man in that way. Even if he was 25, I'll be like, okay, fine, whatever. And he looks like a skinny kid who could be that age. Who doesn't fully look like a man yet, right? But like this, when you're like, this child has not been to college yet, and he's like, that is a grown woman who is monetizing her Instagram. Absolutely not. You're wrong.
I get what you're saying. The backdrop of them supposedly being that age, is not cohesive to everything else that's going around them.
Yes, exactly. Adrian, is this what you wanted to talk about when I came on the show?
Listen, bottom line, I wanted to talk to Eric Silver, because every time we have a blast, and it's a good time, and we just gotta fucking get into it.
Oh, God.
I would like to note one thing, that Eric Silver did not give us a definitive ranking of cities. Just
adjectives
just
associated.
New York
hobbled through it, said New York was number 1, fuck everybody else.
Yeah, that's my ranking. That was my ranking, wasn't it? I thought
feels
I was clear about that.
That's
That's my
thing to
ranking.
do. Is all I'm saying.
And that's what I'm trying to say, though. It's not like rank major cities in Texas. I feel like it would be important for someone to do that. In New York, in the Northeast, it's just like, this is my favorite fucking everyone else. Like, that's what I'm trying to say about like the hierarchy. Okay. It's not even a hierarchy. It's like, I don't even think about you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the sandwich when I'm filling up my gas and pooping. Wahwah. You know, it's like, that's it. I don't care. Fuck Joel Embiid. You know what I mean? Like, it's just whatever. Let's go Celtics. That's it.
Adrian, from now on, every person from the Northeast, I want them to come in and rank.
They're just gonna say New
The
York.
cities. I just want to know if it's a thing. Like, is it going to match? Is it always going to be New York? Because Eric's a New York kid.
Everyone else will choose their favorite, the one that they're from, and then maybe put New York second or last. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like it's either just a love or hate thing. Like I can't rank it. It is or it isn't. It's on or off. It's not like Tears.
Okay.
I love.
It's a Katy Perry song right there.
It's hot and it's cold. It's a women's world. See, I know sports and Drag Race. That's true.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Sports, Drag Race, and Katy Perry.
I know maybe one of those. Okay, don't look at. Hold up. I can't say I don't know Katy Perry. It's fucking my sister's
Is Katy
room.
Perry on your wall? Oh.
So Adrian, now that since you have a big Katy Perry California Dreams poster, can I ask you, how do you feel that Katy Perry is currently in her flop era? How do you feel about that?
Is she in her flop era? Because honestly, if I was fucking Orlando Bloom, is she in her flop era? Or is she just being satisfied at home? I'm just saying.
That's why she put out Woman's World.
Absolutely.
A song that Hillary Clinton was thinking about using other than Fight Song, even though it came out 10 years in the future.
I don't think I'd give a single fuck about what was happening if I get to go home to that man every single day.
Then she should stop putting out music.
Maybe, but maybe there's a contract that she has to fulfill.
Alex, I'm
so
talking
let her do her
to Adrian. Alex just kicked down the door of this conversation and be like, Orlando Bloom is servicing her. She's fine. She's putting out bad pop music with faux feminist messages because she is getting it from Legolas.
Because her wienering at home is great.
From the lead of Elizabethtown is giving it to her.
Why is that the pool? Not Elizabethtown being the pool. That's it. You know what? You're right. My middle school come to Jesus was Orlando Bloom and Elizabethtown, not Will Turner. Definitely not Will Turner at all.
No. I'll give you Legolas and a deep cut, but nothing else. I think if you say that you got activated by anyone in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, I guess Keira Knightley's fine. No, that would count. But I feel like you knew about Keira Knightley already. I can't imagine someone getting activated by that. It's not a horny group of movies.
No. For sure. Listen. I think I would go as far to say that I know we'll go back to Katy Perry. Adrian, I know you're dying to answer this question.
I'm salivating. I'm just waiting.
Hold on, wait. I'm close. Alex is distracted. I'm in oh god, what is that game? Like in Hitman, I flicked a coin and the NPC is running after it. Now I'm closing the door. Adrian, how do you feel about Katy Perry being in her flop era?
Yeah, she had her time. You either live long enough to become whatever the quote is, or die a hero or something like that. I don't know.
I think Pirates of the Caribbean did to the mid 2000s that Mummy did for all of the Bye children in '99.
Sure.
I think they're the same. I think there should be a Bye Awakening movie genre and
I just don't think it's Pirates of the Caribbean. You really think just because they're both there?
I think because then you have a character like Calypso as well.
Oh,
and
right, yeah.
And we do have the very horny shots of like Keira Knightley and her boobs. Like, yeah.
No, I guess
absolutely.
you're right. It's more about just like having two options because no one's making that. It's just like it is what it is. Mm-mm. Yeah.
It is.
And I felt representation as a guy who wants to be in a ghost story by Davy Jones. Having Davy Jones.
The Charles Dickens experience. I just want to be in a ghost story.
It's like, oh, do you believe in ghost stories? You better, because you're in one. And then I look around and I'm like, oh, you're right, I am. It's spooky.
When you go to other cities, do you feel like I wish I was in New York?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like I had spent a lot of time comparing them. whether or not, especially 'cause my mom lives in Nashville too, so I feel like I spend a lot of time in Nashville, and it's such a different type of city, especially now that like Nashville is being built up just because so many people are going to it now. So there's now it has like its own quasi Times Square with Broadway, but also like it almost being like, let's not do stuff in New York anymore. That's where all the libs are. Let's do it in Nashville. Like the fact that there's now like a New Year's in Nashville, I'm like, this is some real. We continue to pander to right wing America so that we can do it. But also like it has absolutely no public transit at all. And it's more
And they'll never do it.
That feels like the right wing America. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's very, but it's also one of the, because it grew a lot in a short amount of time, there's a lot of sub-cities inside of it, or the neighborhoods feel very distinct from each other. So it's like I found like my Brooklyn and my Queens in there, like my hipstery sort of like fun stuff, or, you know, places I've been there forever, or places like really interesting restaurants that got like cheap rent in weird places and now are blowing up. I've been finding that, and it's the easier now that I just find like I follow a ton of Nashville food Instagrams so that I can like do fun things with Amanda and my mom. But also like LA sucks. I know they're having a hard time right now, but it's like I feel like I end up comparing myself a lot to, like, I just spend a lot of time being like, this is what it's like where I live. And I feel like I spend a lot of time understanding that somewhere else. And just like thinking about the part. It's like, why do I not like this? And I feel like I end up identifying qualities. It's like, it's weird how far I have to drive. It's weird how nothing feels cohesive. The whole vibe just like kind of makes me feel weird when I'm on the West Coast. Even in California cities, in San Francisco and LA, or in the PNW. I like Seattle and I like Portland a lot, and I have really good friends there. But like the vibe is just so different from New York.
Yeah. I like that. I like that vibe over there.
No, I do
It's
too.
not as hustle and bustle, you know.
After a little bit of time, though, it's just like I want to go home. I definitely feel that way. And there was a lot of time where it was like, oh, are we going to have to move to like a smaller city to like actually like buy a house or whatever? And Amanda and I ran through a lot of those possibilities. Like, are we going to live in, upstate New York cities? Are we going to go to Buffalo or Rochester or Syracuse, which is where one of Amanda's siblings lives? So we did like a whole tour. We drove from New York to Toronto and back, but like going up and down like the whole of New York State. And hitting a bunch of stuff inside of it. But no, I just really love living, not even like living in New York, because Manhattan is terrible. And it has to do with the traffic, the amount of people there, and where people are doing stuff about it. But I really love living in Brooklyn. It's really nice. And I love my neighborhood. I really love Greenpoint. But I'm starting to identify why that is, and I feel like then I end up comparing that to other cities, especially when I go to Europe. When I was in London and Manchester, I was like, why are you giving me something that looks the same but is not? It just makes me feel weird.
Yeah, because those cities are newer cities, right? Those are definitely cities that are brand new, popping up.
I guess
that are giving you what you like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough on this Dungeons and Dragons podcast to talk about European cities and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm identified as like I want to stay here for as long as I can, unless someone in the rising rents kick me out.
Gotcha. I mean, we talked about model our nations. I hit it, and then we were done. We hit
Yeah,
we
you
hit
hit
the
it and quit it. Absolutely.
Model Our Nations is a GM-less tabletop RPG.
Yeah,
where
Eric Silver doesn't want to GM anymore. Like, get him off. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Don't get him off. Hold on, please.
What the fuck?
Time out. That's not what
A wife. A whole ass wife.
I'm sorry, Amanda.
No, that was good. That was great. Sick. Where you can it's a meeting of the secret world government, and you make characters. You make the character and the country who's like a representative sent by the government to the secret meeting, and you make up a docket, and you have to get things ratified, which is really fun and cool. If you like, the thing that I say is if you like the Star Wars prequels, because of the fact that the whole Senate was there, this is the game for you. If you liked it when Jar Jar Binks was like, Misa, a bad senator, you're going to like this game.
I just want to play as Jar Jar now.
You can. You can.
And I will. I'm so excited now.
I lost all audio all of a sudden. Son of a bitch. I can't hear anybody anymore. We're 5 minutes away from the hour mark.
Keep it. It's fine. It's fine.
Adrian is the best.
Stop whispering.
Best. Adrian is literally the best human on this planet. He deserves nothing but love in this year of our 2025. Like, that's it.
Can I tell you something that I have been working on? A new game I've been working on?
Oh my god, yes, so that Adrian can't hear? Absolutely.
Adrian
please.
lost his audio?
Yeah, he can't hear anything.
I didn't know.
No, that's why I keep telling. No, that's why I'm saying good things to him. So when he's editing, he'll hear them later.
Okay, I can wait.
Yeah, what are you working on?
I can wait for him to bring his audio back before.
No, look at him, because he doesn't know, especially pointing at the screen.
I don't want to cut anything off because I feel like it might be good content.
Okay.
So I don't know what I can turn it off and on again real quick. Give me a second. Sign up. Oh, you guys typing.
Hold on, I'm gonna write to him. We have 5 min left. We'll make jokes and then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to tell you about this.
I need to sign out.
I'm going to tell you about this new game that I'm working on, okay? I'm enjoying it. I've been trying, after doing like a really formal game, I'm like, you know what? I just need to like enjoy it. I got to just make something just to make it. And we're finishing up the campaign 3 for Join the Party. It's either done or almost done. And something that we always do after campaigns, big campaigns, is we do something called the one-shot derby, which is where we do the character creation of other tabletop RPGs that have like really interesting character creation, and then people vote on which one they want us to finish the game on. So we were doing that, and I was like reading over a bunch of interesting tabletop RPGs, like Brindlewood Bay. Do you know that one?
Not yet.
Oh, it's you play as a coterie of older women who live in a small New England town who read murder mystery novels, and then they solve murders and deal with the occult. It's really fun.
Yes.
Powered by the Apocalypse game. It's really cool. I've been reading some other ones, and I got into Triangle Agency, which is a really good game that came out recently. It's like Control vibes, which is one of my favorite video games. And so I've just been reading a lot of tabletop RPGs lately, and I was itching to write a new one. So I wrote a game that's really, right now, it's just called True Crime Podcast Game, which is where you run a true crime podcast, a famous true crime podcast, and all of you die at the end.
What do they? How are you? What can you? How do they die? Why do they die? Wait, why is it? Is that the game? Is that we figure out how they die? Is that?
Yeah, the game is you all need to play to figure out who doesn't die, who lasts the longest. Because like you do the character creation and you make the story together, but you have to pick which way you're being stalked by death. And every single person has to have a different way that they're being stalked by death. So I did a first draft of it. I'm like adding some bells and whistles right now and figuring out how it works. And I'm going to do some playtesting and see if it all comes together. I'm going to try to run it for the one-shot derby. We're definitely ahead in recording, so I got some time. But it's been really fun just working on this game. It's another GM-less game. I'm trying to make it like really have some pace. Like you could finish it in an hour if you were brisk about it. And I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
No, I love that. I think it sounds just silly enough that it'll get the girls who are silly in, but then it has that horror aspect that I think a lot of people are looking for, especially moving away from like D&D.
Yeah.
I feel like the horror aspect has been really, at least, with like Alice is Missing and all of those, like we played 10 Candles over New Year's.
Oh yeah.
I think that's been that's the trend right now, it feels like.
Yeah, and I'm going for like horror comedy. I'm going for real Zombieland levels, for Jennifer's Body levels. It's
Yeah.
There's a mechanic that if things get too stressful or start to get like really bloody, or you just whenever you want, you can do an ad read. And just like at any time, you can just do an ad read.
I love that. What does the ad read mechanic do? Does it just pause it? Does it?
Nothing. Oh no, nothing.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
It's more of just like it's a release valve for the horror elements of like really making sure you're balancing the fun, the scary and the funny. I'm also trying to like I could go in so many different directions with this. I've been pulled on like if it's like encouraged for people to record the quote unquote record the podcast, but it feels like such a hat on a hat. It's like, okay, you just made these characters and now you need to role play as the characters doing a podcast. It felt like too much. The main mechanic, the main game loop starts with people canceling the recording. And I kind of want them never to record the podcast unless like I'm going to have like a extra difficulty. If you're confident in this, you can record podcast. You can record podcast episodes and hear prompts of how to do that. But I really want it to be like super brisk. It doesn't have anything to do with actually recording the podcast or anything. It's just like, we make the characters, you bounce off of each other. Everyone chooses how they're going to die. You make the show and then you play the game.
I love that.
Yeah. Adrian, you're really gonna like it. I think you're really gonna like it. I know your sound cut out, and you can't hear me now, but I think you're really gonna like it when you listen to it. Let's end the show so that Adrian we can stop talking blatantly in front of him, like spelling a word in front of a dog so they don't know that they have to go to the vet.
Oh. Okay, good.
No, it's okay. We're gonna stick. We were gonna finish so that we could be that we wouldn't be talking in front of you.
Yeah. Eric, where can they find you?
You can buy Model Our Nations at bit.ly/ModelOurNations. It's also on the Join the Party merch store, which is where we're hosting our merch. I'm not putting it on Itch or whatever or Drive-Thru. I'm trying to do it because I have my own merch store. I might as well. It's also on Indie Press Revolution, which just makes me feel nice. So they're going to bring it in person to cons and stuff, which I'm feeling really good about it. But check out the episode. I'm going to tell them to put the link in the episode description if you want to check it out. Check out Join the Party. I think it's a really good podcast. I think I'm pretty good at it. I think I'm the best DM in podcasting.
You are.
Thanks. And you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm Eric Silver. .bluesky. Whatever the fuck over there. You can find me there.
Just type in Eric Silver. Something will come up.
I'm Eric Silver that sounds and looks like me. You'll figure it out. I'm the one that likes basketball and video games and tabletop RPGs. I'm that one.
Is there another Eric Silver that does not like those
There's
things?
a bunch of Eric Silvers out there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a guy who did like a Portlandia parody video like 10 years ago who also lived in Brooklyn. I'm like, wait, that's me. Hey, wait, that's my name. Stop it.
And then he stopped it because you killed him.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Oops. Oh, oops.
Uh-oh. Just girly things.
Just for girls only.
Just
gals gabbing about murder.
We're palling around.
This
pals.
true crime podcast is so great. I'm enjoying myself so much.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode. You can find us wherever pods are cast. Make sure you share us, like us, subscribe, whatever it is. Now that it's okay. TikTok is forever in our hearts. But the podcasts live on forever. But maybe it's fine. Make sure you're also paying attention to any sort of salacious dictatorship shit that comes out in the next couple of months, because here's your warning, just your real life warning that history will repeat itself. Maybe, probably. I don't know anything. I just teach art. You can also find us on all the social medias at Dungeon and Degrees. We are on everything, I think, so far. And you can join us on Patreon and in our Discord, please.
Nice. Do it. Support them.
Do it. It's so nice. Adrian.
Oh, watch Landman.
Very
Or don't
important.
watch Landman. I don't know. Don't.
And I'm Alex.
Not a good show. Don't watch Landman, actually. Don't. Go to Buc-ees. Don't watch Landman. Buy Model R Nations.
Go have some fun.